All right, man. Torture Talk OT. You know what it is, man. We back, baby. All right, man. How y'all doing out there? Sorry about the 12 o'clock show. I have an episode, but I didn't want to release that one because I actually talked about that on a live, and it was kind of like me releasing two double episodes. So I didn't want to release that one. It was on the Eminem suing the guy for releasing his music. But yeah, so I'm gonna be dropping a lot of episodes, so y'all gonna be seeing a couple episodes come through. Thank y'all for joining me today. I really appreciate y'all being here with me every day. This is Torture Talk, the King of the North. You know what it is. So today's episode, Kanye West admits that he's jealous of Kendrick Lamar. So before we get into that, I got to get legendary spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know to find the ones that just don't harass them. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content. Absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, link is in the description. Cash App, no more PayPal. They call me the Hidden Gem. I went from 1,300 subscribers to over 16,000. And yes, I am the King of the North. Let me know what kingdom you from. So we're going to get right to this, man. Let's do it. All right, this comes courtesy of the Ville. You know what it is, so let's get it, man.
A lot of like things that he's saying that he's regurgitating. So Kanye's interview had just came out. A lot of people are reposting it. A lot of people are reacting to it. Like it's just a lot of like things that he's saying that he's regurgitating that he's already said online, and then he's wearing something that is very, 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 very wrong. But anyways, we already heard about this interview coming out. We've already anticipated it because they've already talked about it for some time now. So we kind of already had a peace of mind of what it was going to be. But the one thing that, like, from the whole thing, because I
Yeah, I definitely think that this interview was was more disturbing than I actually thought after I watched the first time because I realized that Kanye West is feeding into his own delusion. And if you listen to how he talks, he doesn't stay on one subject at all. He jumps from subject to subject, and it's like he can't complete a coherent sentence. It's just basically him speaking, and then he jumps from one subject to the next, and he just brings up people. He kind of cuts himself off, and so it's kind of in my view, it's kind of like he has a whole bunch of thoughts running through his head at one time, and he's trying to express them all at the same time. I mean, we're actually watching a real live person who should be evaluated as far as their mental health displayed right on the internet. This if you ever went to school for this type of this type of work, you understand exactly what I'm talking about when you see his erratic behavior and how he's moving. Let's keep it going.
think Kanye was just rambling at this point. But the one thing that I did want to point out that everybody was talking about online was his reference to the beef, was Kendrick and Drake and the beef that they had and what Kanye was saying about it. It looks like Kanye really, really was jealous of Kendrick Lamar because in the interview with academics, he decides to say that. He decides to openly just admit that he was jealous of Kendrick Lamar. And it makes a lot of sense when you think about everything that had took place before that, when the beef had took place, you had like that with Kanye West.
I'm gonna tell y'all why I don't really roll with the whole thing of him being jealous of Kendrick. If that's the case, then it's much more than that. I don't think that Kanye was really jealous of Kendrick. I and it's gonna sound kind of crazy. It's weird we talking about Kanye and I'm talking about sounding crazy. Um, I don't really particularly believe it was jealousy. I was I'm on the lines of it was more he felt it was more he felt left out. Not necessarily jealous, not necessarily like, oh, I'm jealous of Kendrick, because if he was jealous of Kendrick, I think he would have been jealous of Kendrick, unless he'd been jealous of Kendrick. But I think the Playboy Cardi album didn't make him jealous. I just don't see how that could make Kanye jealous when Kanye produced some of the joints. So, well, because he didn't record a song on there, or he didn't put a song on there, or I don't think that that's the case. In my opinion, I think that when it comes to Kendrick Lamar, and I probably said that he was jealous before of Kendrick, I don't necessarily think he's jealous of Kendrick. I think it's a little bit deeper than that. I think that his resentment for Kendrick is the fact that Kendrick Lamar is everything that he wish he was. Now that people can say that, well, you could take that as jealousy. Yes, I agree, but I think it goes. I think it's if it's jealousy, it's much deeper than just jealousy. You know what I'm saying? This is a disdain, maybe not hate, but it's more like on the lines of uh I can't believe that people don't treat me the way they treat him, type of thing. So if you want to say it's jealousy, then I guess you're right. But for me, it's deeper than jealousy.
And obviously he had that whole remix that people still bring up to this day because it was just funny how Kanye had tried to insert himself in the beef.
We had to get the hooligans up here. We're gonna take this out. Yo, Dot, I got you.
So when Kanye West had made this remix to like that, a lot of people thought that Kanye was on Kendrick Lamar's side. He didn't like Drake. They've had recent beef in the past. They've had their ins and outs, whatever the case may be. But Kanye always had said that he didn't like Drake. And when Kendrick Lamar started to beef with Drake, Kanye was very, very open about not liking Drake and being forward with this song, saying that he got Kendrick's back. Yo, Dot, I got you. And now moving forward, fast forward into the beef, he starts talking down on Kendrick Lamar. He starts acting jealous of Kendrick Lamar. And now at this point, it starts to be like if he wants a response from him, almost like he wants him to react to what he's saying online.
All right, so okay, so here it is. This is what I believe. You know what I mean? This is what I believe. I think that Kanye West believes that the music industry is helping Kendrick. And the reason why I say that is because when you watch the interview before the Like That remix came out, when he was on it, he jumped into the beef. He was talking about Lucien being Drake's baby dad, right? Rich, he got a rich baby dad, whatever. Then once he seen Lucien Grains go against Drake, I believe that Kanye West's biggest hate is with Lucien Grains, and I believe that no matter what happens, he's going to side with whoever is against Lucien Grains. And I think this is the reason why he is siding, seemingly siding with Drake, but then coming around saying that Kendrick Lamar, because we're going to hear next, is Kendrick Lamar is being pushed by the machine or by the industry. That's what's going to come. That's coming next from Kanye, because his ultimate hate is with the machine and what they so-called did to him, which I believe that he did all this to himself. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that's where all of this is coming from. This is why he's doing the things he's doing. Now, Lucien Grain is a Jewish man, and this is another reason why Kanye West is doing all these things with the swastikas and the Grand Wizard cloak and all that stuff. And I think he's using that against Kendrick, saying, yeah, I'm the Grand Drag or whatever. But the point I'm making is, this is the reason why he's doing all this. It's because he has an issue with how the record labels are being ran by certain people, and that's why he's doing all this.
Now, frankly, a lot of people have been saying online that they do not want to see Kanye and Kendrick Lamar go at it. They do not want Kendrick Lamar to bite the bait. At this point, everybody thinks that Kanye is rage baiting and is trying to get some type of response from somebody, especially Kendrick Lamar. In this new interview, he's openly stated that he is jealous of him. And it actually goes back to what everybody was saying when all of this started transpiring. He was cool with Kendrick Lamar at the beginning when there really wasn't a winner. Now that Kendrick is determined to be the winner and has claimed to be number one, that's when Kanye has a problem. And he explains that in the interview that he did, stating that this was all because he was jealous of Kendrick for saying that he was number one and being able to do what he couldn't do and beat Drake in the battle.
And the way, as far as the way I feel, the way I'm expressing, I'm saying people want to telling them they can't be. And anybody that ever went against me, and it's the other shit I don't really have a problem with Kendrick. I would never call Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? I don't like what happened with the song and that whole idea. I don't like how they used Kendrick. That's right.
And what I don't understand about this part of the interview, he said,
What did I tell y'all? What did I just say? What did I just say? He has a problem with the machine, and this is the reason why he's doing all this. Now, I don't necessarily believe he's jealous of Kendrick. I don't. I think that he has a disdain that he's in that position, and Kendrick is in a position that he's not. Now, people could say that's jealousy. Okay, cool. We can agree to disagree, but I would even side with you on that and say, okay, it's a piece of jealousy, but I think it's a little more, much more bigger than just him being jealous. But I just said that. This is exactly what I just said.
I don't like how they use Kendrick, but you basically use Kendrick when you remix like that to insert yourself in this beef. And nobody paid attention to Kanye when he dropped this remix. At least I didn't. I know that this wasn't moving the crowd. Like that original is better as it is. And nobody cared about Kanye when he had brought himself up, when he tried to insert himself into beef. But that's what he did. He ended up using them. So that way he could make himself the center of attention.
And
I also believe that Kanye West, he entered the beef because Kendrick was going against Drake, and it seemed to him like Kendrick was going against Drake in the machine, right? Kanye entered the beef because he probably believed, because this is after that interview, he jumped into the beef because I believe that he admitted on the interview that he had a remix or something like that. He jumped into beef because he thought that, in his head, he thought that Kendrick was taking down the industry. Fast forward, Drake sues UMG, and now Kanye West is seemingly on Drake's side because he feels like Drake is going after the music industry. But which makes no sense to me because it still doesn't take away the fact that Drake did you dirty. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's saying that the beef with the machine is much more important, but you have nobody to blame but yourself. You can't blame Kendrick Lamar. The record labels are just there to push the artist to make money. You can't be mad at the record labels for trying to make money because you're doing the same exact thing when you do all these antics. So it's crazy.
I don't like him saying he the number one because I'm the number one. So those are my two things.
People think that that's jealousy. They feel like even when you criticize the Super Bowl performance, you're like.
So I don't like him saying he the number one because I'm the number one. So those are my two things.
People think that that's.
How are you number one, bro? What are you number one at? This feeds into his delusion. Where are you number one at? Where? How? Like, when it comes down to it, Kanye West does have hits. Kanye West has a lot of stuff going. Don't get me wrong. I think nobody can beat him in a verses when it comes down to it. But actively, what have you done that's actually good outside of my dark twisted beautiful fantasy, or my dark beautiful twisted fantasy? What have you done that's actually really that good after that? Donda 1, okay. That was okay. My Life of Pablo, no. The album after that, no. I like Yeezus, but most people think it's trash. But when you say you're number one, at what? Rapping? Making songs? When was the last time you had a hit on the radio? Actually, that's the question I have. When was the last time you actually had a hit that people like? I don't get it.
They feel like even when you criticize the Super Bowl performance, you're like, man, I ain't like him on Cardi's album. He got too many verses. Like, yeah, he could rap, but we ain't want to hear this shit.
Y'all don't go to church? God is an angry God. God is a jealous God. What are you talking about? I'm the closest thing to God on earth, and I act just like how God acts.
Oh, this nigga's wild. Yeah, he lost his mind, man. Like, let's pick apart what he just said, just for entertainment purposes only. God is a jealous God, right? Now, that is a saying, And if you believe that, that's fine. That's the same. People say that. But how do people know that? How? And you're saying that you're the closest thing to God on this earth. Okay, so you're the closest thing to a living embodiment of perfection, which some people would say, right? This is just because they say God is all seeing, all knowing, perfection. But yet and still, you're running around with a costume on, portraying to be something that is built around hate. How does that even correlate to God? I don't understand that. How do you correlate the two? Sometimes I think he just says things for shock value. Kanye West knows what he's doing. But this doesn't make him the GOAT. This doesn't make him famous. This makes him infamous. Like, people honestly don't really care too much about it, because what happens is you start to do even more stuff to get your name even known even more. So now people see this and they think they don't really care for his music. They care about his antics now. A lot of new people. Old people like Kanye, but the new people care about his antics. And this is why they make money off of his content. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I go up when people, whatever interview you did previous to the interview of this interview, I guarantee you it's going to be more of a blessing than the previous interview. So what does God do? Bless. God has used me to bless. John Legend, boom. Amber Rose, Kim, Travis, Cardi. You get what I'm saying? So whatever is here, the blessings run through me. But in that same way, I'm angry. I'm jealous. And now I can say all these people were the family that I never had, but North is my actual family. So give me.
Yeah, you see how, and I'm not no doctor, but I can psychoanalyze people sometimes. But you see how he jumped from subject to subject to subject to subject to subject. He ain't really staying on topic. He's trying to, correlate all this to a point, but this had nothing to do with what he asked you. You know what I'm saying? I'm a jealous God. None of these people were really my family, but Northwest is like, but I'm angry. But you never explain why you're angry. Maybe he's going to. Who knows? But this is what I'm saying about some of the stuff he's saying is just not coherent. He's just basically just spitting out whatever he thinks is coming to his brain as fast as possible. It's kind of like Kanye West feel like his time is running out. He has to say everything as fast as possible before the time expires on a clock or something.
Give me one reason, please. Because before it's all jealousy is this and that, and now it's this far. So yes, I was jealous that Kendrick is on Cardi album, and I feel like that's two different genres. It seemed like J. Cole and Kendrick would be more like, I like mixing genres and shit, but yeah, I'm jealous. Yeah, I'm hearing this shit for the first time. Yeah, I'm not on it. Yeah, this man rapping about Skims. It's like, that's what, man, what about all this shit where I said I duck with rappers? I was celebrities.
Like I said, he openly admits that he's jealous of Kendrick Lamar.
You see what I mean? Like, he said he rapping about Skims. I don't know what that means. What do he mean by that? If anybody know in the comments, let me know. He said he's rapping about Skims. I don't know what he means, but I'm gonna look that up. That's interesting. But you see what I mean? J. Cole and they mixing genres. Then he agrees that he likes to mix genres. Like, how's that? This is hip hop. So they're mixing genres with Playboi Carti and Kendrick. But Kendrick should just do songs with J. Cole, which he has an issue with J. Cole, and he knows this.
And now it all starts to make sense, because this interview, bro, everything else is just a whole bunch of rambling, a whole bunch of regurgitation of what he said previously online. The only difference is he's wearing a robe with it. So it's just a whole bunch of nonsense. But this was the part where I think he was being open. He has that God complex where he likes to think of himself as such, even though I don't really look at him as that. But
well, he does have a song called "I Am a God." Like, he does have a song called that, I believe on Yeezus. and he says this, and I think people had a problem with that before. Now, I think that a lot of us, I don't really want to get into the whole theory of us being gods or whatever, but a lot of us feel like we're gods. I mean, a lot of people do feel that way. But his version of what he's saying a God he is totally different from what everybody else believes, in my opinion. Like, if that's the case, you know.
He says God is an angry God, God is a jealous God, God is a blessing God, you know what I mean? Then he starts bringing out all these examples. But realistically, you're just showing signs of humanity, of being human. You're not really showing signs of having the God complex. You're just jealous, which is probably the most horrible human trait to have. And whether you like to think of God as a jealous God, whether that be true or not, I don't think being jealous makes you more holy than the next man. And I think the other thing that I wanted to express here was that he's been on this tirade. He's been going crazy on Twitter, talking about Drake in a bad way, talking about Kendrick in a bad way, saying all these things about all these people. But realistically, he's just jealous, bro. And at this point, the hate is forced. At this point, the hate is obvious, and it's been obvious before this interview even came out. I don't really try to cover Kanye West and his antics because it's just so much mess and it's just a lot of stuff. But I wanted to point this out because this was a conversation that everybody has been talking about. Is Kanye doing all these things? Is he saying all these things because he wants to get a response out of Kendrick Lamar? He's openly saying that he's jealous, but I feel like
I definitely don't. I definitely think that he wants. I think he knows that Kendrick Lamar is number one. He even admits that. He's saying he's number one, but everybody sees him as king. Now, if he wants a response out of Kendrick, I think that for him to stay relevant, he has to get a response out of Kendrick, or he's going to keep doing these antics. This is how I believe Kanye West feels. He feels as though he has to get a response out of Kendrick Lamar. And I think he's not done. I think he's going to keep on going to the next level. I think he's going to do something like maybe put himself on a cross or something and talk from off on top of a cross. He's going to do whatever it takes to keep the eyes on him. And this has nothing to do with music, by the way. Just let y'all know. This is all his actions. There's nothing to do with the music. And I think that's the part that he's missing. Because again, Kendrick Lamar could drop a song right now and everybody would forget about Kanye. Easily. Not even do a diss track. He could just basically drop a track. He could just drop something else and people would forget about Kanye. Nobody wouldn't be talking about him. And I think that's what Kanye hates about Kendrick.
like he's doing this because he wants to get some type of reaction. A lot of people feel like it's not worthy for Kendrick to even go at him. I don't even think it's worth it because what could Kendrick say to this guy that's going to help him or benefit either of them? Obviously, you could make money, but what's the purpose of going at Kanye West when he's going at everybody? He's not just going at Kendrick Lamar. He's going at Drake. He's going at Playboi Carti. He's going at Frank Ocean. He named Jim Jones out of all people, like talking about a crypto scheme. Like he's naming all these people. He's basically just telling everybody off. And he at the end of the clip, he says he hates rappers. He doesn't like rappers. He dislikes rappers. And I think whatever mood you catch him in, he's going to talk good or bad about somebody. But since Kendrick has been on top this whole time, he's going to start to look at Kendrick like he looks at Drake. He starts looking at it with some despise. He starts despising him. He starts disliking him because he is taking the number one spot. So I think it's clear at this point, as long as somebody out there is better than Kanye West, he will make an enemy out of you. And what's crazy was because I think he also dissed J. Cole. And what was funny about the J. Cole diss, that he brought up False Prophets, which was a song that J. Cole had used to get at Kanye West and all these other rappers, the little whatevers, and then talking about a person that he had looked up to. Even way back then, I understood the message in J. Cole's song when he had talked about false prophets. And it's funny.
Yeah, this is a very interesting dynamic because we all feel the same way. And I felt that J. Cole did that about Kanye, but J. Cole got some things he need to handle too. This is this whole thing is very, very interesting. I never in my life seen hip hop at this point so interesting like this. This is very interesting to the point where it's kind of like almost a little bit disturbing. You got Kanye West, Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole, and whoever else under them. But these four guys, Kanye with his antics, Kendrick with the music, Drake with the lawsuit, and and J. Cole with being a coward. It's crazy. This is crazy to me. This is crazy. But I'm gonna end it there. If y'all guys want to watch the rest of this on the Ville channel, make sure y'all go follow the Ville. Yeah, man. This is. I don't even know what to say anymore. But I'm here for it because I think that we need to talk about this more. But him doing that stunt, it left a bad taste in my mouth. I really don't even want to deal with Kanye West like that no more. You know, one of my boys was saying that, you know, he's just doing this for promotion. And I said, but this is a little bit too much for me and I can't take it no more. So, and I think this is beyond music. This has nothing to do with music. So, but what do y'all think? Y'all think that Kanye West is jealous of Kendrick Lamar? Or do y'all think that Kanye West has a little bit of deeper issue with the music industry and he believes that the music industry now is pushing Kendrick Lamar like they did Drake? So let me know what y'all think. I'll see y'all, man. Show will be coming up. Peace. Bye.